Oh, dang, I didn't mean to do that. Mm-hmm. So, let me put on my seals so as that I can see. Let's see what this one gonna be doing. Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? This joker is just not doing things and stuff that it should be doing. I think that it wants to. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, 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 you guys. It is just Sylvie. Just coming to bring you some of that 414, that one in the middle for a little bit of balance. Why? Because you see things this way and they see things that way. If we come together just for some effective communication, we may at least be able to gain some understanding. Understanding does not mean that we are going to agree or have the same thought process. Understanding just means what it means. We can respect that you feel this way and I feel that way, and we can go on about our business. Hey, 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 y'all. Thank you for coming to sit with me a spell. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I would greatly appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe. I hope that y'all have had a great day today and that you are having a wonderful week this week. And if not, I pray it gets a little better. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. I know. Let's see. I said hi. I said hi. I know that we are in a place right now in this world where it is, and I say in this world because in the United States, we would just like to think it's just the United States sometimes. It's not just the United States, it's tension everywhere. It's tension everywhere. But right now I'm dealing with that is in the United States. And I know what I know that I know that I know is that those pictures I got up there, people don't want, they don't like it, even though there are convictions that have already been taking place and everything. People are feeling how they feel. And some of us are feeling a ways. You feel me? Some of us are feeling a ways. Well, I appreciate you for being here with me, out to Turkey in the house. Shout out to Turkey in the house. I appreciate you being here with me. But yes, we're gonna get into that a little bit. Before we get into Karmelo and Austin and Caysen and Joe, we're gonna talk about one other thing, you know. And my prayers go out to every family that I just named. My thoughts are with every family that I just named, because families, and I get it. I can only get it from thinking on how the families think. Yes, families have lost their sons and they will never be able to come back to them. And these two young men that are still living, that took the lives of these young men, they get the opportunity, you know, to see their family still, if they're going to come and visit them in prison and everything like that. They get the opportunity to one day be back in society, you know, if the plans are for them to be back in society, because we never know what may happen, when things may happen. But right now, right this very moment, all I got to say is, what in the Louisiana D. Ritter or D. Ryder mayor, who thought that it was okay that she go and party with the babies and grape babies and then lie till she died to hide it from the police, is going on here. So we have former Louisiana Mayor Misty Roberts. And Miss Misty decided that she was going to go to the party, the house party of the babies. And I don't even know if there were other adults at the house party or not. But if you are not, y'all got to excuse me. Where's the pizza? Excuse me, y'all. I apologize. I had to get that off the roof of my mouth. It was a piece of oatmeal. And it was just playing around in my mouth. So please forgive me. She decided she was going to go to this party. Okay, well, I pray things work out for you. If you're trying to get to America, you know, if it's meant for you to be here, it don't matter. Hard is not impossible. I will say that. Hard is not impossible. Hard is hard. So, you know, I believe, you know, whatever's meant to be is going to be. You know, it's people that live here that's trying to go and live other places. It's people that live here that go and live other places. So, you know, whatever's meant to be is going to be. Hi, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate y'all for coming to sit with me and spell. But back to Misty. So Misty went to this party back in 2024 while she was the mayor. And so Misty wound up resigning from being the mayor. And 5 days after Misty resigns from being the mayor, she gets arrested. Misty gets arrested on third-degree rape charges. And then once she gets arrested on those third-degree charges, somehow, some way, she the mayor. You know, people with status and, you know, financial stability, amazing financial stability. Sometimes they can make things move like they want them to move, especially if they look like that. Now some of these things are going to be my opinion. Some of these things are going to be fact. But so she goes from third-degree rape down to what that charge was. Let's see. From third-degree rape down to felony carnal knowledge. And felony carnal knowledge means that she, like they keep trying to, like the video I made the other day where they're saying he had relationships with a high school student. You the principal, you had relationships with a high school student. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. That's what they're trying to say, that this was consensual. Felony carnal knowledge means that it was consensual, that this adult mayor went and laid her ass down with a child. So it can't be consensual though, Louisiana, because your age of intent, excuse me, your age of consent is 17, and those babies were 16, and 17 still shouldn't be consensual. So if it's not consensual, if they don't have the age capacity to consent, then you have abused them. You are a peto and a rapist. That's what you are, Misty. But that ain't the half of it. That ain't the half of it. Because then they did go in and amend the charges. They went in and amended the charges this year, and they amended the charge to felony indecent behavior. So that makes it a little more intent than carnal knowledge, but it don't make it third degree rape. It don't make it third degree rape. And then she was able to get 2 judges recused because it said something about a D some kind of judge. Because I was reading the articles, and it was like, so the judge that sentenced her was a D, not a de facto judge, a D something judge. Whatever the judge, did I write it down? It's probably in that phone. I think I did, but I didn't write it in my notes. But into who, whatever the judge was that came in as a temporary judge, I was like, so I'm like, why did they have to bring in a temporary judge? Because I went in and looked up what the D such and such meant, and they said that was a temporary judge that they bring in for special occasions. But then they was like, those special occasions are like if it's an international case, or I forgot what the other 2 cases was, but nothing said hers. I said, so why would they bring this judge in? That was my next question I plugged into Google. Why would they bring this judge in for a rape charge? And so Google was like, it's likely that a judge recused themselves. So then I went into the rest of the article. Had I just kept reading instead of I get nosy so I can go and do some research, so I can investigate some things and some stuff. But had I been patient, because God is dealing with me about being patient, because I'm not always patient. But had I been patient, I would have known, because it said that there were 2 judges that were recused. Now the 2 judges that were recused, it seems as though they were recused because basically they was calling her guilty before she was guilty, but everybody knew she was guilty. She was telling her husband what she did, and she told her son what she did, and she told her best friend or her lifelong friend. That's what she told. Lie till you die. I'm not telling the cops nothing. Lie till you die. But if you think you're right, if it's consensual, why you lying for? What reason do you have to lie if it's consensual? Because you cannot consent to laying down with a baby. You cannot consent. That baby can't consent to you laying down with them. I don't care if you as a man. I don't care if you as a woman. No touching the babies. Keep your hands off the babies. And if your mentality is that of a baby, which it said sometimes that they are, because her husband went to talking about her mentality in there, said she texted her, she texted him and was like, well, I've heard enough people, because they were trying to figure out, he's telling her you don't need to talk about it and things like that. Her husband is now her ex-husband. There was so much tension because she was out there graping babies. This is why my baby said don't say, and when I say that you are touching the babies, when I say that you are having sex with the babies, I ain't saying the baby's having sex back with you, because you don't have no business out there touching babies. Period. I don't care how you want to look at it. No touchy the babies. Period. There's never a reason. Because if your mentality is that means that you have mental issues. And I keep trying to tell y'all that folk get out here and make all of this money, because I can't imagine that mayors don't got a little bit of money. You had a little bit of money to throw around, because I believe that your sentence was because you threw your feminine wiles. You got them 2 female judges from off your case, because them female judges probably won't gonna go easy on you. And I ain't saying they weren't professional, because her lawyers took it to the Supreme Court to be able to get them female judges gone. But then you got all these men around you, and you throw them feminine wiles around these men, and you get these men to do what you want them to do. This heifer got 90 days. 90 days. She got a 5-year suspended sentence. If she breaks her parole, then she will have to serve 10 years. But somebody came on the Instagram post and was like, if the tables was turned, she would have got 20 years. I was like, they need life without the possibility of parole if they think it's okay to touch babies. But yeah, she should have at least got 20 years or something. You know what I'm saying? You at least got 20 years. This heifer got 90 days. And the only reason is because they got caught in the act. Had they not got caught in the act, this heifer probably would go on, and she only got 90 days, and she got to serve in jail and 5 years probation. She can't tell me she ain't gonna be out there around another baby. I think she only got 90 days because she either had the judge in her pocket, because she got money. Some people got to have it. Some people really need it. Do things, bad things, baby, for the love of money. She had the judge in her pocket, or told him she would put him in her bed. That's just my opinion. I can give my opinion. Self only got 90 days. 90 days? And it was multiple children. Multiple. And you think because you went and you felt guilty enough to break it to your husband that you out here? That's what I said, screwing the babies, and my daughter was offended at me. But when I say screwing the babies, it's because the babies is not screwing you, because you are the adult. You're supposed to be protecting the babies. But reading on these last two cases about her and about this principal just made me understand why my baby said, don't say it. Because they out here saying they having sexual relationships. They're not having relationships. Because children are children. Hey, y'all. Thank y'all for coming to Set a Spell. I would love it if y'all would like, share, and subscribe. So we're going to get on into the meat of things. I didn't really read my word, but I Proverbs 11:1 is talking about a false balance and just weights. And Proverbs 11:11 speaks of the blessing of the upright. By the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted, but it's overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. There's a lot of wickedness going on. And yes, we're saying as far as this Karmelo and Austin case, as far as them and the fight, they're saying that it wasn't racial because Austin had black friends. But there is a place in this book, because I have been going around on a regular basis. Excuse me, let me move that. I have been going around on a regular basis on these comments because there is such wickedness being spewed. Because people want things to go their way only when all the time. They only want it to benefit them. If it benefits them, they're going to benefit them. And this book says, do you think that younger people are less racist? And she says, no. They just have more intricate ways of going about it. And when I tell you my baby, before I even read it in this book, My baby talked about one of her friends, somebody, and I ain't never met the girl, but I just thought, I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute, she's so cool. They made that little video. They went to a wedding of their friend, their mutual friend, and made their little video. And when they made the video and they sent it to me, I was like, oh my gosh, I love the video. I love the video. And then there was just this one girl that I just loved on her. You know, I just took her in immediately through the video. And now my baby talking about how those undertones are coming out. Why? Because there is a good, bad binary about racism. And I just want to read y'all this little excerpt from this book real quick. While the implication that a racist could not tolerate knowing, working next to, or walking amongst. She uses people of color, but a lot in this book, but then a lot of times she says especially black people. So this is no disrespect to people of color, but I'm just going with black people because long before I ever knew of a people of color, black people was getting that smoke. So, while the implication of a racist could not tolerate knowing, working next to, or walking among black people is rather ridiculous, the sad fact is many whites have no cross-racial friendships at all. Perhaps this is why we rely on such flimsy evidence to certify ourselves as racism free. Flimsy evidence equals racism free, because this is a chapter that's speaking about, in order to be a racist, you got to be a bad person. You got to be a skinhead. You got to be a KKK. You got to be a Donald Trump. Good people, the good whites are not racist. That's what this book is. That's what this part is breaking down. So, but even those that have cross-racial friendships and use these as evidence that you got to be bad to be racist, or their lack of racism, still invoke the binary of racist equals bad / non-racial racist equals good. They see their friendship as proof that they are that they are on the not racist side of the binary. Yet, cross-racial friendships do not block out the dynamics of racism in the society at large, and these dynamics continue unabated. Because not racist equals good people. The white person will still receive, I'm reading from the book, the white person will still receive white privilege that a black friend does not, even when the two people engage in activities together. Nor do these friendships block out all the messages that we have internalized and that are reinforced in this society. With all that being said, people are saying that there was no racist intent because Austin had black friends. And that book tells you, and if you don't sit in your emotions, you can know that just because you got a black friend don't mean that you don't have racism in you. There are people with black babies that have racism in them. Let's just take it back for a spell. We do know that the masters went into their slaves and procreated. Sometimes they did love them. And woe to that slave woman or that slave man if the master or the wife of the master loved them, because they probably was going to get it 50 times worse than if you still hated the blacks and you just made some babies with them. Now, with that being said, the entire time that this has been going on, and I have already gave my shout outs to all families, the entire time that this has been going on, I have said, I have been the one that has said, if Carmelo would have got off, can't say I would have been mad, but I also understand that a life was taken. My take, as are many other takes, is that that young man did not go to that event on that day saying, I'm gonna kill me a white boy today. He didn't do it. Only the emotional and the fragile will think that that young man that they say done saved some white babies, he done went in to rescue people. You don't, this won't no YN. Cause somebody came on my comment talking about hood rats, and he was so quiet. And he was talking about hood rats and don't know private school, want no hood rats. Nobody on the comment talked about private school for hood rats or whatever. Some of the hoodest rats can be very intelligent. Don't get that twisted. They may make stupid decisions, but that does not negate intelligence. I would say that Miss Misty Roberts is probably an intelligent heifer. But she's an intelligent heifer who thinks it's okay to touch babies. Stupid, disgusting, criminal decisions. You see how all of that works? So then he felt the need, because he wound up calling me a dumbass. And I just lit into him for a little bit, and he felt the need to come in and tell me that he lived in the hood. Okay, because I hit him with the good. Racist equals bad people, and non-racist equals good people. I hit him with that. And I've been hitting folks with it. Y'all need to read this book, Beverly. I keep trying to call her Beverly D'Angelo. Beverly D'Angelo is the woman that plays on National Lampoon's Vacation. And I keep trying to make Miss Robin D'Angelo Beverly D'Angelo, just by the last name. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't any racial, because it could be that if these young men, if Austin and Hunter were the bullies that it said that they were, it could be even with the blacks that were around them, they were surrounded by yes men. They were surrounded by yes men. Y'all know I come up here and I talk about yes men. And Karmelo wasn't a yes man. The fragile are going to try and make this tent a real thing when it's already been said that there's no policy that says you can't go up under a tent. The fragile are going to try to say he told them to get out of the tent. He could have gotten an adult to tell him to get out of the tent. It did not have to get violent. It didn't have to get any part of violence. The violence started. Balanced people are going to understand. The violence started once somebody puts their hand on you. Once you come into my space. I tell people to stay out of my personal space. Please and thank you. Especially if we have issues. I just need you to stay out of my personal space. So the violence started there, but the fragile want to look over or condone, you know what I'm saying, or make rationalizations for the violence started there. And the fragile can be an entire community because it is what it is. The law is run by the fragile. And that's not to say that there ain't no good people in areas of law, but the law, that's why people keep hollering about black people racist. Black people cannot stop you from getting anywhere. They can't stop you. You see how black people showed up? They couldn't stop him from getting charged with red rum, murder, instead of criminally negligent homicide like Caysen got charged with. Criminally negligent homicide was the bottom of the barrel. It was less of a charge than manslaughter, which they said murder one was the case that they gave you. That's intent. That means you pre-met. That means that Karmelo left his house and said, "I'm going to kill that boy today." That's what that means. Now let's talk about Caysen for a little bit. Let's talk about Caysen Allison, who committed this crime back in 2022 and got to sit for a whole 3 years. Karmelo got to sit for 14 months, and they both did get out on bond. I think Karmelo's bond was $1 million or more than $1 million as well. Both of these young men, and Caysen looks like this. Let's take this into account. Caysen sat for 3 years. Karmelo sat for 14 months. They said that Caysens were bullies as well. They tried to say things like, and all of this is just rumors and hearsay. None of it was the case the day that everything happened. Oh, they like to jump. Oh, they like to bring guns. Oh, they like. But let me tell you what Caysen did. Because everything starts at a place. Caysen, at an after prom party, decided that he was going to aggressively approach a young lady. Any man that is approaching a young lady, if that young lady is not doing anything and you just feel the need to aggressively get up in a young lady's face, that says something about you and your manhood. It's my thought process. People may disagree, but it is what it is. So he aggressively gets up into this young man's face. Now, the young man that was with, this young woman's face. Now, the young man that was with that young woman, I don't know if he was maybe fearful of Caysen. And so Joe felt the need to come and intervene. I don't know what the case. Sidebar, because I just watched an Instagram video where the young lady that looked like this just was wailing on. It looked like a young lady that looked like me. Couldn't tell because she was wailing on that tiny little girl, that big girl, probably about my size. And they was in school wailing on this little girl. You hear nothing about stop. You hear nothing about stop. Get off of her. Don't do that. But then a little girl that looked like me, a little chocolate, a little something looked like me, and she was about my size as well, came and got to wailing on her. All of a sudden, you hear the teacher hollering, "Stop! No, don't do that! Stop!" Somebody on that comment said what my sister has been saying. Y'all just expect for, my sister said they don't expect for the dogs to react. You know they don't see us as human. I can't help how you see me. If I'm minding my business and you feel the need to, I feel threatened. I feel threatened. And you want to say don't bring a knife to a fist fight? Caysen aggressively got in that little girl's face. Him and Joe got into it. Doesn't say whether that was just verbal or if it got if it turned from verbal into an actual I can't think of the word, but a fist fight. But that's not the word, that's not the phrase I'm thinking about. But if the verbal turned into a fist fight that day, or if it just stayed verbal, but after that, they had planned to fight. And the fight was supposed to happen somewhere off of school grounds. Now, in the process of all of this planning, Caysen says things like, calls one of the friends, texts one of the friends and said, "I want to hurt him bad. I want to put him in the hospital. Bring me a gun. I want him on life support." All of these are things that you are planning, premeditating. I watched several videos that spoke on it from a balanced vantage point. Some people have no balance. I'm so glad that they were not able to give Karmelo a death penalty, because I believe they would have. Because I wasn't particularly saying that he should get off. But murder one, it should not be. So I am so thankful that he is already filed the appeal. If I'm not mistaken, I read that I watched video that said that he had already filed an appeal. I was watching Willie D today. Now, I don't know. I couldn't find this on Google, but Willie D says, look at this. This is all I'm saying. It's a family affair. Y'all see that title? Willie D says that the first cousin of Austin Metcalf, now I do know that that's the case because I went and Googled that to find out that that was true. The first cousin of Austin Metcalf is the warden at a prison called the Bird something. Yeah. Willie D said they were trying to send Austin over there. They were trying to send Karmelo over there. How lucky would he have fared? How good would he have fared had he had to go to a prison that was run by the family that just got him 40 years? And that's not me putting off what he did. But the 40 years, especially since they saying that the judge and the daddy and the DA knew one another, and there's a picture of them at a party. I'll post that picture when I chop up these videos. I'll put these videos that I'm speaking about other because one of the guys that talked about Caysen, he looked like Caysen. And he said what I had said before I watched his video. Woo, look at those eyes. You can look at the eyes on this pic. On the thumbnail to my video. Them eyes look something like danger. You said it's not, they have the same last name and they're not related. Who proved that to be true? I'm gonna have to go. That's why I said Willie D said. Google says that he is the warden, but I didn't go in. I'm gonna see, because who said they not? Where you get the proof from that they not related? Because I'm thinking same last name, they is likely to be related. That's not no norm. That ain't no common Metcalf. Who proved that they not related? Let me find out. Drop that proof so I can go read that for myself. Drop that proof. Let me screenshot your comment. I need that for later, so I can know who said it wasn't true. And I ain't saying that you telling a lie. I'm just saying let me find out. But anywho, howsoever you look at it, one of the people that were in that bathroom, his name is Shamel, said that Joe looked surprised when he saw Caysen come into that restroom. Caysen followed Joe into the restroom, said that Joe looked surprised as if he didn't know that it was about to go down, even in spite of what they had been talking about. But the fact of the matter still stands, and that's a fact. Those were in court documents that young man said that he wanted him on life support in the hospital. Caysen's friend, who was Joe's ex-girlfriend, said that Caysen threatened Joe. And guess what? They saying that Karmelo got the 35 years because he didn't match aggression with aggression. By that logic, Joe should have thrown an air punch. And once the air punch was thrown, then we could have got to the squabble, because guess what? Excuse me, Caysen should have thrown an air punch, because Joe threw his blow, and once he threw that blow, it missed. And once he missed, he began to get shivved. And Caysen was asked by the cops, how hard did he poke him? And he said, not hard, but it was sharp. but he poked him in 4 different places. Now they said that Austin just went 2 inches in, but these are dangerous weapons, so they can create, as they did, 2 inches in. My cousin got shot in the thigh, and every time I tell that story, somebody say he got shot in the thigh and he died. Hit a main artery. There are a lot of those in the thigh. There are a lot of those in the thigh. So these can be dangerous instances. And they're trying to say that Karmelo egged on the aggression, so it couldn't be self-defense. But if I just ask you to, you're jumping over something. They were quick to show Caysen's video, but they're jumping over something because Karmelo's video is very grainy. So it said that you can't really tell what's going on in Karmelo's video. And there's a Texas lawyer that he said believes that video, as I stated, if you show one video clearly to be able to give that young man the least of the sentences, you know that video, is my opinion, would have showed that he was in more danger's way than y'all are letting on that he was. But if y'all get to spin the narrative like the people in power do, so how that chick got 90 days, because the people in power get to do what the people, they get to change the laws how they want to change the laws. They get to make the narratives fit what they say, and then the fragile just gonna follow suit. I'm not following nobody's suit. I want to know for myself. I want to think critically. I don't want to think like sheep. I want to have a thought process that is my own. I don't want to, I do. That's why I said, you see things your way, I see things my way. If we come together for some understanding. So you must not have been in here when I said that just because somebody African American testified, he went from saying that they was friends to not friends. I said, when I read this book, when I read the excerpt out of this book, I said, just because you have black friends don't mean that you don't have any racism in you, first and foremost. And as the lawyer also said, the same lawyer that said he believes that video will show something else, said that people withdrew from Karmelo. I'm going to play that as well. Not on this live, but when I cut it up, because I don't know I can't do that right now because I'm still the new girl on the block and I'll be using my phone, so I can't do things that computers would do. I don't have no computer right now. But anywho, I said, he said people withdrew from Karmelo because they knew they had to live in that community afterward. It's a conservative community. And if you want to just jump around the fact and feel emotional, I'm not emotional about the fact. I know what the truth is. And if anybody that wants to, the most balanced whites are the whites that understand the truth and trying to speak out against it. And she'll even tell you that she knows that she walks in her privilege sometimes still. That it's not just okay, I'm not racist, but you have to admit that racism doesn't mean that you are just a bad person. Racism doesn't mean that you are just the Ku Klux Klan or you are just a skinhead or of the Aryan nation. Racism doesn't just mean that, but you got to be able to admit that first. Admitting is half the battle. What did he ever do that was a thug? There's white fragility in the building. Boom, boom, boom. We got fragility in the building. What did he ever do that was a thug? What did he ever do that was a thug? Tell me. I'll wait. I'm not Democrat, and I would never. I'm glad you would never be in KKK. I'm neither Democrat nor Republican, and I do have conservative values. But I'm waiting. What's your name? What's your name? Gracias. Gracias 78-96X. What did he do that was a thug? Except go to the better school. Yeah, they said that Karmelo was at the better school. If we gonna talk about this kind of stuff, he was at the better school. What's the page? What's the page? I'll go right now. Show me the page so we can see if it's AI. He was at the better school. He was at the top of his class. 3.7 GPA. That don't warrant thuggedness. I do too. I hate the whole situation. I do. But what I hate even more is people that try to spread lies to try to make themselves look better. What did he do? Tag me in that page. Drop the name of the page so I can go to the page and pull it up right now. So we can see if it was AI or not. Because that's what I'm saying. That's what the fragile do. That's what the fragile do. The fragile try to put out myths because the media is going to show you the worst part. And if the media showed the worst part of people that look like this more often, but they're not going to do that because they're in charge of the media. So they're in charge of what gets shown. Because we can talk about that woman dropped so many pictures. So many pictures. Because sometimes it's people that look like y'all that understand fragility. And then it's people that understand fairness and people that understand that the legal system does not move in a way that is fair and equitable. Because somebody said, had Child killed Austin, he would have gotten found guilty. Had Karmelo killed, what's his name? The guy, the young man, I don't remember his name, the young man that Child killed, he would have still been found guilty. But I said, Caysen got a lesser charge because he looked like this and Joe was brown people. And y'all feel how y'all want to feel about this. And it does bring division. It does. And I hate that there has to be division. No for MKL. I hate that there has to be division, but there is division. There is always going to be division when there are people. If you serve a higher power and you can still look at somebody and say that they're not human, I want to know because these are Bible reading people. What Bible are you reading, first and foremost? Because I don't want to read that Bible. I don't want to read that Bible. You cannot say that you serve a God that is a God of love and then have hate in your heart. I don't care. You say it till you blue in the face. You're right. You are definitely right. That you are definitely right. Because if you live in the neighborhood that is not of a upper echelon or upper socioeconomic status, you're going to fall into the people that live in that neighborhood. But a lot of times, people that live in lower socioeconomic neighborhoods are going to be black and brown people. It's some whites that live there too. Hence the young man that came on Facebook and wound up calling me a dumbass to try to make himself not look racist. You just really made yourself look racist because why you call me a dumbass? I didn't even say anything rude or anything. I made a video. My whole entire goal of this is to make sure that at Gracias 78-96X can have their say. As long as their say doesn't become a danger to me, I'm not going to block you. I went and unhid. Facebook hid And when he liked the video, because sometimes when people like my videos, I go to their page, because I told y'all I'm nosy in the beginning. When he liked the video, when he liked the video, I went to his page and it was a picture of Charlie Kirk. I'm like, oh, I got me one. And it was probably about 45 minutes after that when he went in and made his comment. And I already knew that the comment was coming. I'm like, the comment coming, Lord, the comment coming. So when he made his comment, I commented back. I forget what he was commenting based off of a young lady saying that she wished that there were more black private schools. I don't particularly believe that unless it's a black private school owned by a black person. Now, I don't particularly believe that that's particularly going to make things better. And if so, what about the black children that don't go to private schools? All black children aren't thugs, just as all white children aren't angels. And anyone who says that their children would never say never. Oh, wow. I think you have white privilege. You don't have to have a trust fund, because this is my page and I can be. Because this is my page and I can talk about what I'd like to talk about on my page. I am so glad you came in and got into the conversation. Matthew Donyon, I am so glad. But no, for MK1, you don't have to. This book will tell you. I'm not trying to be funny when I say read this book. I would feel that anyone who believes that they are not racist, like genuinely believes it, it's a great book to read, because the fragile ain't gonna read it. But you do not have to. You're born into it. You get an opportunity that does not extend to people that are not white. That's where the privilege comes in. Not from the trust fund. We're not talking money, honey. We're not talking money. You see how you just called me dumb because I'm telling you what this white woman said. You call me dumb. Woo! I love it when y'all prove my point. I am incredibly stupid. How privileged is that? I have not said, we have been engaging in great conversation. I am dumb and incredibly stupid because I called you to your privilege. So you must be the fragile that will be scared to read up on your privilege. OMG! No, for MK1 in the house. Let me screenshot it. I bet that book would mess with your mental health, because you asking me. Look, I am screenshotting today. We is screenshotting the comment section because Fragile is in the building. 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 We got some Fragile in the house. And I just want to work it out. He said we shouldn't be divided. And I became a dumb, stupid ass. Because I called him to his privilege. We got some Fragile in the house. Hey, come on now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Look, Mr. Matthew Donyon. Cause if you too fragile, say you're fragile. I ain't mad at you. If you're too fragile, say you're fragile. One thing for sure and two things for certain. One thing for sure and two things for certain. I I'm about to teach I'm about to teach the babies on the owl that stopped pretending. One thing for sure and two things for certain. I would never want to be white. I love me. And even while I was working on me, because that's why the hell out there messing with the babies, because people think, go get that money, go get the money, go get the money, money, go get the money, go get the money, money. And they don't want to do introspection. They think that they have grown and reached a place because they go make that money, baby. One thing for sure and two things for certain, even when I had a problem with loving me, I did not want to be you. Because you definitely sound like you the whites coming in here telling me that I'm jealous because I am not white. Woo, Lord. Let me screenshot. No, that would be you. That would be the did I screenshot that one? That would be the person that tells me that I have deep internalized hate for I'm jealous because I don't want to be white. That's why so much whitewashing goes on. That's why y'all change everything to fit y'all narrative. That's why y'all take credit that won't y'all. That's why y'all project. Because we have deep internalized hatred for ourselves. Woo! We don't we don't that's all I'm saying. That's work you need to do on the inside. But we don't have to talk about my verbiage because I promise you my vocabulary, I speak how I speak because I want to speak how I speak, not because my vocabulary is not superb, baby. Period. Superb. Superb. But yes, I just came up here. Look, I'm just chit chatting with y'all because I'm finished saying the things that I wanted to say. Regardless of what anybody wants to say, there are major similarities that say that Karmelo should have got a better sentence based off of Caysen, who premeditated taking the knife to school to unalive the boy who shot him an air punch. Shot him an air punch with them evil eyes. If you look, and I'm not even gonna say that Austin got evil looking eyes. Nobody eyes look evil up there except for Caysen. Karmelo eyes don't look evil. Karmelo eyes looks angry at this point. Not even angry, just frustrated and hurt with himself because what have I done? Just like Caysen fled to school, Karmelo went straight to the coach. Is he okay? Caysen wasn't worried about that. Caysen was worried about getting away. Yeah. I'm not the only one that said Caysen had evil eyes. RBS Sports, who looks like that and is a teenager, by the way. And he said this a year ago when Karmelo had first done what he did because Caysen had just started going on trial. And he did one on Karmelo. This is how the fragile move. Somebody came into RBS Sports comments and said, you got over 3,000 views on your Karmelo video. It was about 100, maybe 200 views on the Caysen because the fragile don't want to hear about them. I'm glad that, what your name is, Danyan. I'm glad that you could admit that you know you too fragile. You good, no 4 MK1. My goal, that's my goal, to let you have your moment. And if I need to move according to how you move, I'm gonna move according to how you move. But you didn't say anything that will put me in danger. You had your moment. And I'm gonna keep moving. That's how I roll. No 4MK1 said I really do apologize for being rude. That's big of you. Because a lot of times people are not gonna apologize. They're just gonna rationalize the behavior. And that's small of people. To rationalize, this page is for women, not just for black women. This page is for women who like to rationalize behavior. This page is meant for you to be the highest at the highest God powers in your mind. This page is meant for introspection. This page is meant for growth and maturity. I watch a lot of men podcasters because I know, just like I said about the woman using her feminine wiles, I know I'm a woman. I know what women can get into and how we can use what we got to get what we want. And sometimes that's not always a good thing. I speak to people because I want people to be better people. Because I truly believe that there shouldn't be all of this division. And I understand that a lot of it is financial division, but we're not going to negate. We're not going to negate that a lot of it is racial division as well. Not about black or white, but I know how come I use. Now, you got me shook with your word. Mulliable words around hood people. They treat it with hostility. Did I get hostile with you? No. I didn't get hostile with anybody. I laugh in the face of somebody who feels like they're going to put me down to make themselves. That's low self-esteem at its highest. Low self-esteem at its highest is the person that feels that they need to put you down to pick themselves up. Y'all have to understand that I have put on 80 plus pounds in the last year, and you cannot even talk about my weight and make me feel less than. Why? Because I have done introspection. I did have self-hate. I did. I had a lot of childhood trauma that helped with that. But no, baby. One thing for sure and two things for certain. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She on fire. She loves the hell out of herself. Period. This ain't no put on. I don't put on for the camera. I put on for my city, on for my city. I put on. I don't put on for the camera. This self-love is like none other. She worked hard for it. You know, Donna Summer said, I worked hard for the money. Ah, so hard for it, honey. I worked hard for the love of me. That is what this stop the owl who stopped pretending. I'm going to be teaching my babies the next time I do my little teaching with my babies. You got to be able to love you, good, bad, indifferent. You want to do better about the things that you may not feel so good about yourself in, but you have to love all of you at all times. If you don't, you have to learn to. Period. Thank you. At Kelly Grams. Love yourself as God loves you. Blessings to you. Thank you. Thank you. You're on fire, but wrong about white privilege. I'm not. You're gonna have to tell the people that know that they're not wrong. That's where the fragility comes in at. She said the good people. I'm not even saying you're not good people. She said the good people have the hardest time accepting that they are just born into white privilege. She talked about people that would be considered. This is not a dig to you, but trailer park, you know, because that's the opposite end of the ghetto or the hood, is the trailer park white folk. You still have privilege. You should read the book because you sound like you are probably. That's what the good bad binary is speaking on. That's what it's speaking on. People just you associated it with a higher socioeconomic status. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. But look, y'all. I'm about to get on up off of here. Because I done talked. I done said what I said. I done said what I had come to say. You know what I'm saying? We talked about that crazy old Misty daggone Roberts out here raping the babies and calling it relationships and calling it consensual and getting 90 days when her ass should be in jail forever. And we talked about Austin and Carmelo and Caysen and Joe and the things that I just believe we're gonna see. We're gonna see on his appeal. I don't believe that his appeal needs to be in that same city. I believe he has to take it away from that city to get his peers, and his peers don't have to particularly be black, but it ain't good to not have no black people on the jury. The work is hard. But I'm glad that you went from a poor place. You keep making it about finances. I'm not making it about finances. This woman who wrote this book says that she knows that she still has to do introspect because every day that she lives, she has to deal with the fact you have to be able to see it from a balanced vantage point. That's what that the just wait in comparison to, you know what I'm saying, the unbalanced. A just weight is going to be looking at this, seeing it from both sides, and coming to a balance in the middle. That's the only reason I'm saying that this is a good book. This is not to knock that you have done hard work. This is not to knock that you have come from a place of, of a more poor place to a better place financially. This is not even to say that you're a bad person. But this is to say just what I said. People are going to assume that racism is highly connected to, I don't want to be around that person. I hate that person. I don't want to work with them. I don't want to live beside them. I don't want. I don't want. I don't want. And that's where you become a little bit, that's she's saying that that's a delusional thought process to think that that's the way that racism only hits. I'm telling you, my daughter, she's still friends with the girl. She just knows how to move according to how the young lady has started moving. And I'm not gonna say she's friends with her, but they are friendly. She knows how to move. That was before I started reading the book. It was after I started reading that she told me, but before I started reading that she actually spoke on it. At Rudy Armenta 3512 says, Quike, whatever word that is, Quike, get Carmelo some Vaseline. I guess that was his take at comedy. I don't know. I don't know. Was that supposed to be funny? Because you rolled on the floor at it. They taught us this nonsense in college. It's like chasing the ghost of a ghost. What nonsense is that? What nonsense are we talking about? No 4K MK1. Excuse me. No number 4 MK1. What did they teach us in college? That everybody is privileged. Every one of y'all has the opportunity to privilege, and at some point it will be that you can see that you're privileged if the case ever presented itself. Maybe the case hasn't presented itself up until now. Maybe it has. You don't know. And that's the other thing we talked about. We talked about some of this white privilege, and some folks got a little sparked. But all together, I appreciate every last comment because your engagement helps me, and I have worked hard. She worked hard for the 700, so hard for the 700. Yes, she is at 700 subscribers, and it has been a long, hard fight to make it to 700 subscribers. I am so proud of my 700 subscribers. My whole goal is to be able to be better so that I can get some more return subscribers, so that all of my content is not, or the majority of my content is not being watched by just unfollowers, but I take it how I get it. Thank you. Oh, that's a fun word for quick. Gotcha. Gotcha. Thank you, T Mo. What, T D Moselle? Am I pronouncing that right? Hey there. I appreciate the congrats. Did I pronounce your name right? I hate pronouncing things wrong. Woo! Look, I just had that conversation. I was like, I don't like pronouncing people's names right. I try to sit back and because my daughter. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all this real quick before I get off. My daughters came to me because there is this video going around of people that are in college, and the young man is asking them to pronounce words, and they don't know how to pronounce these words. So I had seen the video. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Um, I had seen the video. So my daughter comes to me on the 1st of June. I was with them celebrating my baby girl. She just turned 31. So my oldest daughter says, my oldest daughter's 33. She says, Mom, thank you for teaching us how to sound words out. I looked at her like this because I don't care how old they is. I remember the days of Christmas past and all days past. Them girls used to be hot like fire with me because I would say, sound it out. Especially that oldest one. Well, Mom, I got this word right, I got that word right. Why you can't just tell me what the word is? Sound it out. Because if you sound it out, when it's time for you to sound out a harder word, you'll understand how to sound it out. So now, fast forward about 20 some odd years, she's thanking me for teaching her how to sound it out. Gotta take the kudos where the kudos come in, because things is not always peachy keen all the time with parents and children. Sometimes the children think they know everything, and parents don't know nothing. But when you can I remember the things that I was thankful for after I got older that I didn't particularly like when I was younger. when you know better, you do better. And you appreciate the people that taught you way back then what you was gonna do better about. Oh, so many years later. They haven't been here first for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You get wisdom from the older folks. And don't get me wrong, because I tell people all the time, I get wisdom from the youth too. The youth can teach you a thing. Oh, look, let me put my glasses back on because I be trying to see. I can't see. I can see when I know I got another comment, but I can't see what it say from here. So I gotta come over here to this phone and read the comment. Exactly. And if you don't, if you are growing in age and you are not getting wiser, that's why I said that basically if you are not getting wiser the older that you get, then you are stuck somewhere. And that's not stuck. It's not a good place to go. The goal is to become wiser and wiser with each day that passes. Now, y'all, with that being said, I'm about to get off of this live because I got some other things that I got to get done around this piece on today. So, again, I appreciate you for coming to sit with me a spell. I appreciate every comment, good, bad, and different. Some of y'all probably think I'm joking, but I ain't. Like, because the goal for me is not to allow what you say to rattle me, because I'm here to do a thing. And the thing I'm going to do. So thank y'all for sitting with me a spell. Hello, beautiful. The goal with each day is to grow wiser and wiser. If your days are not leading to wisdom, if your age with each year that passes is not leading to growth, then beautiful, you are stunted. And Sylvie don't want you to be stunted, so I would say go somewhere and seek out some wisdom so that you can grow, because that is the goal, beautiful. Sylvie loves you, and I am out. T.D. Moselle, thank you. Sweet night to you as well.